Hello, Deck It Out DIYers! Our December gnome of the month is scattered all over my table. And hopefully you are super excited to create Mr. and Mrs. Claus for December. Now, what I recommend you doing is taking your cutouts, putting them all down on tape. I've tried to sort mine based on color that I'm going to paint. So just as a reminder, the hands and nose, I do not paint. I leave those the color of the wood. Everything else I do paint. So this is your cutout that you're going everything to, so you're not going to need to paint that. You're going to put everything to the side. There's going to be a lot of red and white. And I anticipate using my paint markers towards the end to add some different details to help make everything pop. So let's get started with painting the green tree. Okay, if you're new to Deck the Halls, or just as a reminder, when we paint, we don't need a lot of paint at all. So up here at the top of my screen, I have my paint. I dab it into the paint and then I dab it off. There's no puddles. Less is more in this situation. And then I'm just gonna dab, and I kind of dab and swoosh. You don't need to paint the edges. In fact, sometimes on these projects, it doesn't really work out well because paint, even though it's super thin, it still adds a thickness to it. So if you get a lot of paint on the edges, your pieces might not fit together very well. And this project is all a paint and glue. So you're going to paint all your pieces. When they're dry, we're going to put the puzzle together. And then once we make sure everything looks the way we want it to look, we glue it down. Okay? So I want you to go through and paint all your pieces. I'm going to give this a nice solid first coat, set it aside, and then I'll come back and do a second coat if I feel it's needed. Okay, I want to show you the beauty of having these pieces taped down. So the snowflakes are very delicate. They're taped down. These are all pieces that I'm not going to paint. But look at how I can just hold down the tape and I can paint gently. Again, not a lot of paint at all on my sponge. I will come back and do a second coat of paint, but you can hold down the tape and then paint your pieces and not have to hold the pieces in your hand and try to paint them. Okay, so let's paint all of our pieces, and then we'll come back and we'll look at assembling. Okay, DIYers, I've painted all of my pieces. I'm going to, they're all dry or close to being dry. So I'm going to move them all to the side. I'm gonna lay down my bigger project, what you're gonna glue all your pieces to. And now you want to start laying everything out, making sure it looks the way you want it to look, and that the colors are where they need to be, and that all your pieces fit. So I like to put my puzzle together first, and then I will go back and I will determine if I need to change any paint colors or add any coloring. And then if I do, I fix it. And if I don't, if I'm good to go, then I will start gluing. Okay? So lay out all your pieces, then assess, then start gluing. Okay, DIYers, when you are done gluing and assembling, That's when I come in with my paint markers and I do the added details that kind of make it pop and add a little something. So I generally use black or white. Sometimes I use different colors, and I kind of just go around edges and kind of close in different spots. Maybe do a little bit on his nose or her nose to kind of give it just a little bit of extra detail. Not required, obviously, just kind of a little bit of fun. And I just kind of make it up as I go. So I'm going to take my paint marker. I'm going to add a little bit to Santa here and Mrs. Claus. And then I will add the photo to our brochure or pamphlet. And then you'll be able to look at this if you want for reference. But I hope you had a great time this month putting your gnome together, your Mr. Claus and Mrs. Claus together. They're a super fun addition to any Christmas decorating. So we'll see you in the group. Can't wait to see how yours turn out.